The European Union lifts the arms embargo on terrorists in Syria as Russia and Iran consider the decision as dangerous. Russia affirms that supplying Syria with S-300 missiles is a factor of stability that prevents the intervention of foreign forces in the Syrian crisis. Our armed forces take control of the western quarter in Al-Qusayr and eliminate a large number of Jabhat al-Nusra terrorists and destroy their equipment in Hama and Idlib. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I am Yara from the News Center in Damascus. Iran has warned that some European states are taking a wrong and dangerous stand through supporting the terrorists in Syria with weapons, pointing out that such support would undermine the efforts for a political solution to the crisis. The Iranian stand has been voiced by the Iranian Foreign Ministry spokesman Abbas, who announced that the Tehran conference to be held tomorrow with the participation of 40 states aims at helping the efforts to reach a political solution, calling on the states that may contribute to such efforts to take part in this conference. Arakji said that there are close viewpoints among the parties concerned with the crisis about the need to reach a political solution. He made it clear that the success in the conference depended on the contribution of all parties and states, as well as the Syrian interior, in order to reach an urgent and political way out of the crisis. The Russian Foreign Ministry, on its part, has expressed disappointment over the failure of the European Union to renew the arms embargo on Syria, affirming that such failure harms the chances of success of the International Conference on Syria in Geneva. The Russian stand has been voiced by the Russian Deputy Foreign Minister, Sergei Ryabkov, who said that the European decision opposed the policy of the European Union itself and would not help realize a political settlement, despite the statements calling for reaching such a settlement and agreeing on the need to go forward towards an international conference on Syria. Ryabkov said the main obstacle before the conference was the fragmentation of the Syrian opposition and its failure to ensure a high level of representation at the conference. The Russian official said the European decision also opposed, in word and content, the international agreement on arms trade. He added that the decision reflected the double-standard policy of the European Union. The EU, it is to be noted, has decided to lift the embargo imposed on exporting arms to Syria, despite the opposition of some European states who considered it as a violation of international law and UN Security Council's resolutions. The Russian Central Military Command has announced that Russia and China intend to conduct trainings on combating terrorism in the Russian Ural province next August. The command's spokesman, Roshi Shopkin, said 600 Russian and Chinese Popular Liberation Army soldiers will take part in the exercises in the city of Chiparkul in the Russian district of Chelyabinsk. Moscow and Beijing are working on enhancing military cooperation to guarantee immediate response to joint threats. A delegation of Chinese parachutists is currently visiting Russia to be acquainted with the army systems used by the Russian air forces and to exchange expertise and fighting training with their Russian counterparts. The Russian Defense Ministry has announced the deployment of 4 air defense S-300 systems south of the country. The systems were transferred on warplanes to the Asholok shooting field to be used in various missions, including the emulation of the defense of Russian airspace in case of big enemy missile and aircraft attacks. The ministry said the missions will be executed under hard electronic war circumstances to test the maximum ability of the air defense units. With with an official and public presence, a huge funeral was held for our colleague, Martyr Yara Abbas, the correspondent of Al-Ikhbariya TV station. As the Martyr tunes were played in her tribute, the funeral proceeded from the hospital of Al-Zaim in Homs into the Martyr's final resting place in her home village of Nisaf in Misyaf, Hama countryside. May her soul and the souls of all the martyrs who sacrificed their lives for the sake of the country rest in peace. Syrian Arab army soldiers continue to clear the western neighborhood in Al-Qusayr of the armed terrorist groups, raiding their hideouts and inflicting heavy casualties on them. The streets of Al-Qusayr remained witnesses of the terrorist acts carried out by al-Nusra members who left barricades in the streets and destroyed residential buildings. The terrorists also planted explosive devices in and around the houses, which they used as hideouts, while the windows were used as positions for terrorist snipers to open fire at the people in the street. In Int'l and its suburbs, the armed forces foiled an attempt by terrorists to blow up 3 explosive devices planted in the surrounding of Ishtabrak village intended to be remotely detonated. Moreover, a terrorist was killed when an explosive device blew up while he was trying to plant it on Jourin Ishtabrak road in Jisr al-Shughur suburbs. A number of Jabhat al-Nusra terrorists were also killed or wounded in several villages in Idlib suburbs. Their criminal tools were destroyed. In Hamas suburbs, the armed forces eliminated a number of Jabhat al-Nusra terrorists in Kafar Nabuda. They also captured 6 terrorists in Al-Sqailbiyah and destroyed a missile launcher and a number of the terrorists' criminal tools. Finally, 3 soldiers from the Lebanese army were killed in Arsal by armed men gunfire. Lebanese sources said that gunmen in a car opened fire at the Lebanese army checkpoint in Arsal, killing 3 soldiers. Arsal and the areas adjacent to the Syrian borders suffer from the presence of armed terrorist groups that use the border areas to carry out their terrorist attacks. With this, we end our news for today. Thank you for watching. For more news about Syria and the region and to view this bulletin again, you can always visit our website in English, syriaonline.sy. Now to latest business and market news with Nariman Qassam after a short break.